Welcome 490 CCS Radio to another interview. Here we have Mr. Mills and Matthew Andrisi, the team captain. And today we're going to be talking about the robotics tournament coming up in St. Louis, Missouri. So the first question I want to ask you, Mr. Mills, is what got you interested into robotics?
Well, I've always been interested in working with my hands. I went to school for engineering, so robotics is something I've been interested in at a young age. And when I came to Chaminade, the robotics club was a natural fit for me, coming from an engineering background. So it's something that I've always been interested in, and now we teach a technological design course, which I believe my students enjoy quite a bit. And that's a natural extension to the robotics program here at Chaminade. And it's the first year we're running it here at Chaminade. So.
And you, Matthew?
My interest, it probably started with my brother. He was the team captain as well, and he joined the team when he was in grade 9. And ever since then, I was sort of really interested. I came to the school, looked at what the club was all about before I even got to school. So I knew it was a club I wanted to join by the time I got to high school.
Nice.
And I just stuck with it all along.
Yeah. So now, switching over to the tournament coming up in St. Louis, what are your predictions that you have heading into the tournament, Mr. Mills?
Well, the tournament, from what we know, is extremely, extremely competitive. So if you follow the robotics competition and how it actually works, is most, if not all, the teams there will be comprised of 2 teams that are the top teams in Alliance, and then a third team that was picked typically as one of the final choices to enter the playoffs, because it works by the system of a snake draft. So we know, given that fact, that about 66% of the teams will be top-tier teams. So what I mean by that is teams with over probably $20,000 budget, teams of over 40 individuals, and quite an extensive robotics history and program. Needless to say, something we do not yet have here at Chaminade. So 66% of the teams I don't think will be able to necessarily compete with. So we're actually trying to compete with the remaining 33% for that last playoff spot. So I think one of our goals and one of our objectives for the championship is actually to develop a robot that can climb the tower at the very end. I think of those 33%, those remaining teams, the ones that can climb the tower will be the coveted ones that will be picked for the playoffs. So that's, I think, my strategy anyways.
So, Matthew, I wanted to ask you, do you think younger team members can benefit from visiting a place like St. Louis, having these top-tier teams?
I think so. I think one of the big reasons we're going down there, it's for the experience, I guess. A lot of the first-year team members, it's their first time. I don't know if we'll be going there again, hopefully soon. But we'll see. But
yeah, the experience itself, the actual the time that will be in St. Louis is, for all intents and purposes, the Super Bowl of robotics. That's what they call it, because not only is there the first robotics competition, which we're involved with, there's also the first Lego League, which is FLL championship. There's also the first Tech Challenge, which is another robotics competition. So there will be thousands upon thousands of people there interested in watching robotics competitions. So for anything, I think one of the most important experiences for the young team members is just the experience itself of going to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay, so Matthew,
all right.
How prepared do you feel going into the competition?
The preparation was a little bit hard. After we won our regional at UYT, we had to throw the robot in a bag, and we can't work on it until we get to St. Louis. Now, one of the problems was, before we left the competition, we had some problems with the robot. It broke down a little bit. But we prepared as best as we could. We've ordered all the new parts we need. We know what we're doing, but preparation is going to be tough, because as soon as we get down there, we can start working on the robot. We have 3.5 hours. We're going to try and get everything done within then.
So, switching back, you said the remaining 33% you guys would probably be competing with. What do you feel you need to accomplish in order to get that last playoff spot?
Climb the tower.
Climb the tower?
Yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah, climb the tower. That'll be our goal. I think if we can consistently climb the tower, I would be surprised if we don't make the playoffs. And ultimately, I think that's the goal. is to make the playoffs in the championship.
And especially one of the things that we did that we focused a lot on was conquering our defenses, going over all of them. In fact, at the regional we played at, we came in first place for the most crossed. We tied for first place. And I think that was a big help as well. So if we can consistently climb the tower, that's a big one. Plus, keep on scoring all of those points going over the defenses. That would be a big help.
Okay, so a lot of people may be confused about what you mean by defenses and the tower. So it'd be great if you guys could explain exactly what the competition is and the goal.
All right, so basically it was a medieval theme this year. So it takes place on a rectangular field. At one end, or at both ends rather, there will be a tower with goals in it that you can shoot a ball into and score points. But to get to those towers, there are going to be defenses that sort of block the robots from crossing. So to cross the defenses, which include, there's going to be like a gate that you have to open or a door you have to open up, rough terrain that you have to drive over. So you'll have to be able to cross those defenses for points, take a ball and score on the net and the tower, and then at the very end you have to climb the tower for extra points. So, yeah, we're not really focused on trying to score as much. We're going to leave that to the better teams who are confident in shooting the ball each time. We're just going to be the guys that cross the defenses, get as many points for crossing, and then try and climb.
Yeah, and so the tower, at the end, if your tower has been weakened enough, you can what's called capture it. So it gets weakened by scoring boulders in the goals.
8 goals.
And then at the end, at the very end, you can capture it either by driving onto the base, which is a couple points, or by climbing. So you need to extend an arm and actually hang from the tower at a certain height, and that gets you even more points. So one of the reasons why that particular challenge is so coveted, at least for us, with that the remaining 33%, are those points, those particular points of climbing the tower, can only be achieved by you, in a sense, by the third robot. Whereas all the other points, crossing the defenses, scoring the goals, the good robots will be able to do all of that in the time allotted. But the actual capturing of the tower, that will be points that can only be captured by us. So there'll be kind of unique points in that sense.
Yeah. But one thing that makes climbing the tower especially difficult is because I believe the bar on the tower is 6'4" high. But one of the defenses that we try and cross, it's called the low bar. It's only 1'4" tall. So we have to be able to make a robot that can be less than 1'4", but extend an arm up to 6'4". So extend another 5 feet off the robot to try and pull ourselves up.
Yeah, and then not only that, but also then pull the robot, which is 100 some odd pounds. You need to pull it about 3 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sounds exciting.
That's all we have for today. The robotics team will be in St. Louis next week. This has been CCS Runaway Radio, signing out.